There's 10 minutes left on the clock. You're on your 5th question and it's the last one. But it's a session. It's the 10-mark question. Shit, why did I write so much? The paragraph you just wrote will only get you 1 extra mark. But you spent 3 extra minutes on it. 3 minutes you could have spent doing the assertion question, trying to get those 10 marks. That's the situation my SS teacher was talking about the other day. We were going through a past year paper and she was talking about how stupid it was that some of us spent so much time writing extra paragraphs that didn't even really contribute anything to our score. She was telling us to invest our time properly so that we could get the most out of every single paragraph and get the highest score possible. Like, why spend 3 extra minutes writing a paragraph that isn't even gonna get you that many marks? Right? What's the point of that? I feel that as students, both you and I can really grasp the concept of investing our time in worthwhile things. We know that if we just put our time into writing this one paragraph, we could get full marks for this particular question. But we can't seem to do that with life, or even our own body when it comes to our health. It's as if we think that for some reason a higher being will decide to perform a miracle for us and just give us all of the best things in life despite all the shitty life decisions we made in the past. If you think about it, there's so many high ROI activities you could do. Like there's reading, listening to podcasts on business, communication skills, fitness, working out, or even just talking to someone who actually plays an important part in your life. Someone who is genuinely important to you. There's this quote I heard during one of my school assemblies. Very honestly, I cannot remember the guy's name. But it went along the lines of this. Instead of playing video games all day, try going out and meeting new people, because that can open up so many new doors of opportunities for you. Only doing certain things can get you to the top 10 or top 5% of people in life. You have to be like the people who get 90 to 95% mark paragraphs. And you don't do that by playing video games all day. You do that by actually going and finding new opportunities for yourself. It's kind of like the 80-20 rule, right? Only 20% of the things you do will get you 80% of the marks. And it's the exact same in social studies or really any subject you take. Only 20% of the things you write will actually contribute to your mark. A lot of the other stuff you write is just like fluff that isn't really important, especially in essay questions. Like, sure that 1 or 2 extra paragraphs makes you feel more comfortable, makes you feel more secure, and it could maybe get you an extra mark. But why spend all that time, energy, and pen ink trying to write those 2 extra paragraphs when you could just write 1 really high quality paragraph and get full marks out of it? Like, my SS teacher was talking about students who in their O-levels just wrote 1 or 2 sentences and got full marks for that question. And the same applies to life. All you need to focus on is the 100% mark paragraph. So what does the 100% mark paragraph look like for you? For me, when it comes to YouTube, it's just making higher quality videos. And that boils down to writing better scripts, filming better, sequences better, shots that really emphasize the story or the message I'm trying to tell. And then making sure that I add music that actually conveys that particular emotion, right? I wouldn't need to spend too much time worrying about the thumbnail or the title. Yeah, sure, those are important, but those can always be changed. It just takes like 1 or 2 minutes to change the thumbnail and title. But the video, that's the 20%. That is what will get me 80% of the results. So don't spend too much time on the things that only get you a small percentage of your way to your goal. Spend more time on the things that actually get you much further. In my video about advice, I was also talking about how different people have different strengths. And a lot of the results you get, it all comes from the 20% of your skill set, which is your strengths. Those strengths get you the most results because those are your strong points. And so if you're doing something important, like for my O-levels, right? My strongest subject is math. So I should just focus on math, make sure I nail those strong points down, and then I can focus on my weaknesses. Because if I don't focus on my strengths and I focus more on my weaknesses, both my strengths and my weaknesses just end up being average. When I could make my math so strong, I get that 100% mark. And then I start working on my high Chinese. to slowly boost that as well. So depending on what you're doing, find the 20% that gets you 80 to 100% of your mark. Focus on the 20% that gets you most of the results. Don't be the guy investing time and energy into writing like 2 or 3 extra paragraphs for like 1 or 0 marks and wasting a lot of pen, ink and paper at the same time. That's not that's not right. Be the guy who's focused on like the 20% that gets him that 100% mark paragraph. Focus on what's really important. Focus on the most ROI task that will get you the closest to your goal. If you're a student, the 20% doing well in exams is probably just going to be doing a shit ton of practice papers and improving each time. If you're an athlete, the 20% would probably be working on the basic fundamentals of whatever sport you play so that you can get better at your role. And if you're a creator, focus on designing and crafting your message regardless of whatever medium you use so that your audience, your viewer, can really understand what you're trying to say and really resonate with you, really relate to the content that you're creating. That's the 20%. Don't lose sight of what's the most important for you to achieve your goals. All you really need is just the 20%.